Today, a judge could decide to keep an accused double murderer in jail until trial. It's the same jail where his dad works. Jesus Cartagena Jr. is charged with killing his ex-girlfriend and her mother. He's still at MDC this morning, where his father is a jail sergeant. News 13 asked about any possible conflict of interest. MDC would only say it does consider safety when deciding where inmates will stay. Kristen.
Drier air works in out west, but we're still going to be looking at the possibility of scattered storms east of I-25, even fewer storms on the way for tomorrow. So eastern plains, northern New Mexico, heads up for some of those storms this afternoon. Albuquerque, just about a 10% chance of a stray storm or less. David?
A group of Albuquerque neighbors say they were targeted in a BB gun rampage. Now, they say 4 teens drove through the neighborhood. This is near Unser and Montano, leaving their cars and homes vandalized in broad daylight. One homeowner says his neighbor chased the suspects down and got a license plate number that led police to arrest the teens.
This morning, Border Patrol is investigating an inappropriate post made by its agents. Officials say they're investigating a closed Facebook group where screenshots obtained by CNN show posts that include cruel jokes about migrant deaths. There are also derogatory comments about Latina lawmakers. No word on how many Border Patrol members could be involved.
You will soon no longer be able to purchase a gun at Walmart in New Mexico. The decision comes as a new state law requiring background checks on all private gun sales went into effect yesterday. Walmart says they're not equipped to handle that. Their last day selling guns is July 21st. Let's say they will still sell ammunition.
The city is trying to figure out whether millions of dollars earmarked to fight crime went elsewhere. The city's public safety tax generates about $37 million a year. Roughly $9 million is supposed to go to the city's Family and Community Services Department for crime prevention. A recent audit found about a third was used for other things.
New video shows State Senator Richard Martinez being arrested for allegedly driving drunk. This video from Espanola Police shows Martinez behind the wheel as officers were questioning him. Police say they arrested Martinez on Friday after his driver told police that Martinez rear-ended him. Officers say that Martinez was speeding and not wearing a seatbelt. They say the state senator failed his field sobriety tests. Kristen.
Metro threat index down to a 3 for today. A stray storm, if anything at all, like we talked about. But because of the storms firing up around us out towards the mountains, we'll likely see the winds come up. So breezy conditions at times. That's later on today. And of course, those hot temperatures with highs climbing back into the lower 90s here in Albuquerque. Crystal?
Morning, you may notice some new shields on I-25 as you approach the Big I. DOT says it wants to make it clear and to clear up some congestion around the Big I that drivers say merging from I-40 to I-25 is actually confusing for them. To help, 3 new I-25 shields to I-40 westbound approaching the Big I are now added.
New Mexico's first fire restrictions on national forest land are now in effect. This means visitors cannot build campfires in the Cibola National Forest's Mountain Air Ranger District. Smoking is also prohibited unless in a car. Violators could be fined up to $5,000 or spend up to 6 months in jail.
Today marks a celebration of UFOs. World UFO Day is observed every year on July 2nd. It was on that day in 1947 that a now famous UFO sighting was reported in Roswell, New Mexico.
And the Sunport announced it is no longer doing business with an international airline. Volaris was offering flights to Chihuahua, Mexico, but after 2 weeks and only 2 round-trip flights, the airline is pulling out, even canceling all future flights. Officials say it takes about a year or 2 for a new flight to become successful, and Volaris didn't want to wait.
All right, listen up. Here's a recall alert for you. Gillette is now recalling 87,000 disposable razors, saying the razor blades were made a little too sharp. The Venus Simply 3 blades were sold from January through May. Gillette says if you think you have the razor, stop using them. Contact the company to return the razor to receive a voucher for a replacement.
Happening today, the U.S. women's soccer team is in France this morning, ready to take on England in the semifinals of the Women's World Cup. The U.S. women are going for a record-extending 4th title. You can catch that game at 1 p.m. on Fox, New Mexico.
All right, we're looking ahead for you this morning. The state's transportation department and Uber, they're teaming up for the 4th of July, making sure that you get home safely. They're offering a deal, $10 off your Uber ride. You'll have to use the code ABQUSA19 in your Uber app. There are 1,200 rides available. Kristen.
Time now for a check on traffic. At this point, not seeing anything major out there when it comes to crashes or tie-ups. Looks pretty close to posted speeds on the map as well as the Big I.
For my favorite story of the morning, a World War II veteran out on the road this morning, making a second trip across the country, doing it all on foot. Meet Ernie Andrus. He began his journey in Georgia. He was a Navy corpsman in the Pacific during World War II. It took him 2 years the first time he took on this trek. Now, at his current pace, he likely won't finish until he reaches 100 years young.
He's saying it's not his first or his last.
No, he'll keep doing it.
There
Good
you
for
go.
him.
Instead of on this day, we'll start with some breaking weather news. We have our first major hurricane of the 2019 season, that is. This is Hurricane Barbara, a Category 4 storm just upgraded here within the last 15 minutes. Sustained at 130 miles per hour. As you can see, it is expected to stay out to sea and weaken here in the next 48 hours. But again, we're going to be watching this closely as that storm continues to turn in the eastern Pacific. Time now for the 5 facts.
At number 5, you can now help the Isotopes win another major award. Their alter ego, the Mariachis de Nuevo Mexico, are in the running for the Copa de la Diversión Award. Now, that's an award given to teams who celebrate Hispanic heritage. If they win, this would be the second year in a row that the Mariachis would take home that honor. Voting for the current round runs through Friday. To vote, we posted a link at alwaysonkRQE.com.
Number 4 now, for anyone looking to get out during the upcoming holiday, New Mexico's first fire restrictions are on national forest land are in effect. The restrictions are affecting the Gallinas Mountains in the Cibola National Forest Mountaineer Ranger District. Visitors cannot build campfires unless it's in designated areas. Smoking is also prohibited unless in a car. Violators could be fined up to $5,000, or you could end up spending 6 months in jail.
At number 3, temperatures still warm to hot across the state. Storms will favor the northern mountains, northeast plains, and east central southeast areas, where as central areas like Albuquerque, a stray storm, if anything at all. Drier conditions and hotter temps on the way for the holidays. Storms return for the weekend.
Number 2 now, some Albuquerque West Side residents want answers after they say they were targets of a BB gun rampage. They say 4 teens drove through the neighborhood, leaving their cars and their homes damaged in broad daylight last Friday. Surveillance video captured a gray Mustang making its way through Santa Fe Village near Taylor Ranch. One homeowner says his neighbor chased the suspects down, got a license plate number that led police to the 4 teens involved. Residents also credit their neighborhood watch group for keeping the area safe. Neighbors say of the 4 arrested, 2 of them were 18, the other 2 are minors. Their identities not released just yet.
And at number 1, we are now seeing the moments when State Senator Richard Martinez was arrested on suspicion of driving drunk. The video from Espanola police shows Martinez behind the wheel as officers were questioning him. Now, police say they arrested Martinez on Friday after a driver told police Martinez rear-ended him. Officers say that Martinez was speeding and not wearing a seatbelt. Now, they say that Martinez did admit to drinking, but kept changing his story. Now, the state senator reportedly failed his field sobriety tests.